What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. Now this week, the only thing I saw going on that was really big in the news was the whole vaccine ID shit. They were showing cops turning into stormtroopers, acting like the Empire, going through businesses, on restaurants on the street, and asking people for their papers, their vaccine ID, which is fucking ridiculous. Listen, your ancestors fought for your fucking freedom against socialism, the evils of socialism and communism. This very exact thing. That way you can have your rights and your freedom. So these people that are on the far left allowing the government to tell them what to do and take away their freedoms are retarded. You're idiots. Stop acting like sheep. Think for yourself. Your grandparents and such would be ashamed because they're the ones who fought for your freedom and your rights. And now you're willing just to throw it all away and become sheep. One thing I did see that looked stupid, but I guess there are rumors that they're going to try for an all-female Predator movie, and they're going to make the Predator female. Well, we know how that's going to turn out, don't we? Jeez. Wish they'd stop doing these all-female versions of everything, because they just flop every time. It's stupid. It's dumb. Get the fuck out of here with that feminism nonsense. Dumb. The big thing I want to talk about, though, is I literally just watched The Suicide Squad a couple days ago. The sequel. It flopped big time. And I could understand why. The writing on it was really bad. It had a few one-liners that were kind of funny, and the movie didn't take itself seriously, which wasn't bad. There really wasn't hardly a lot of cringe crap in it, and a lot of political nonsense in it, which was good, but it didn't work because the writing was terrible. First off, they changed some of the costumes. Like, for instance, I understood that they had to kind of make an updated version of Bloodsport to bring him into the times. Bloodsport is actually a Vietnam vet who loses his brother in the Vietnam War. He comes back from the war, and he thinks people are squandering the freedom that they fought for them and that his brother died for. So he kills a bunch of people. He goes on a killing spree. Like a vigilante style type thing. Now, Bloodsport, actually, his costume's all red. He wears like this red bandana with holes in it or whatever for the eyes. That shit in the movie is not Bloodsport. The second thing is, in the movie, he's like Transformer shit, you know, with the weapons and crap, you know. He just kept building on, changing and shit. But that's not fucking Bloodsport. Bloodsport's powers or ability is he has a transporting device infused into him. So he is able to transport weapons and armor and shit from a military factory. So he can transport weapons, all kinds of shit to himself to use at will. That's Bloodsport. So I don't know what the fuck that shit was in the movie. 2. The next character they got wrong was the Weasel. Now, that CGI abomination in the movie has nothing to do with the actual Weasel character. The Weasel was John Monroe. He's a serial killer. He was a professor who didn't like certain students. So he went around on campus killing a bunch of kids. Now, he dressed up. He originally was trying to look like a werewolf. He designed a suit with sharp claws and fangs, sharp fangs, just like Catwoman and Cheetah. However, it didn't work out. He got caught. He got busted. And he got thrown into the Suicide Squad. I literally had a guy on Twitter try to argue with me about this, that he was a furry. And he was not a furry. That guy's a retard. But anyways, he built a suit like Cheetah and fucking Catwoman. It was designed to look like a werewolf so he could terrorize everybody. But everybody started calling him the Weasel instead, because he looked like a weasel instead of a werewolf. So that's how he got his name. He's a serial killer. I don't know what the fuck that CGI abomination was in the movie, but it wasn't the Weasel. The next character they got wrong was Polka Dot Man. They completely changed Polka Dot Man's backstory. Polka Dot Man is actually one of Batman's toughest villains. They make him look like a terrible villain in the comics for the most part, but actually, if you think about it, he's actually a real badass. He something Krill, I can't remember what his full name was, something Krill. He designs a suit out of nanotechnology, far ahead of its time because he's a super genius. Anyways, he decides to go on to be a criminal. He wanted to face the Batman. Now, this armor, this suit he creates, it's like bulletproof and like a shield against slicing type weapons, because it's nanotech. Now the nanobots, they would create these small circle dots that he could tear off the suit, and they would become weapons or vehicles, or they even had one where he could use as a transporter device. But they would expand and become whatever he needed. And then they would grow another, or make another dot form on his suit. That's why he's called a Polka Dot Man, because there were a bunch of dots. Now they were colored, so he would know what color would do what. This color would do this, or this color would do that. That's why they were colored. This is an actually badass suit. Now there is a point in the timeline where he doesn't have his suit. It was taken from him. I think he escaped from jail or prison or something. And he goes like an idiot and tries to rob a bank, but he doesn't have his suit, so he uses a bat, and Bullock takes it away from him, beats the holy piss out of him, nearly kills him. Now, it didn't make him insane. It made him loopy for a little while, but he wasn't insane, like some people think. But that's his backstory. And they completely changed that character. That shit in the movie, making him a sissy mama's boy, it had nothing to do with the Polka Dot Man whatsoever. Fucking lame. I don't know too much about some of the others. I don't know who the alien bitch was at the beginning that died. I never was a Captain Boomerang fan anyway. I didn't care about him dying. The TDK thing, that was a stupid villain, so I don't even know why they put that in there. That was pretty dumb. The Savant character, though, I kind of was a little upset that they killed off the Savant character pretty close off the bat. Because if you actually read up on him, he actually sounds like a pretty cool character. I don't know much about him except for, again, he's a martial arts expert. He knows all his weapons. He's got super genius intellect. Another one of Batman's biggest foes. He's also a master computer hacker. But he wouldn't have ran away from the fighting. So that was kind of dumb too. I like Michael Rourke. I wish they would have kept him in the movie. I like him, the actor. The Savant character actually sounded pretty cool, but whatever. The rest of the characters seemed okay. I'm not sure about King Shark. I thought he was bigger than that. And I also thought he was human, transformed into a giant shark kind of thing. I don't know. I never really looked him up or whatever. Because I didn't care. I just, okay, whatever. Anyway, like the Rat Catcher too. I don't know. I think they changed her backstory too. I have no idea. I don't care. By that point, I was pretty, okay, whatever. They did do a little bit of cringe crap with feminism crap with Harley's character, which I thought was kind of dumb. And then, you know, they made fun of the whole taking the spear from the Stargirl series. It was kind of dumb. So instead of giving her a signature hammer, they gave her the fucking spear, which was retarded. And then the other thing that was really dumb was the whole Starfish character. I know it's part of the comics. I know he's a villain. But it's so lame and dumb. They could have chosen any other villain. Seriously. And then the Thinker. You know, I get what they were trying to do, but the Thinker actually wears a helmet. It's not implants in his head, so it was kind of dumb. Like I said, it was bad writing overall around. I do not recommend the movie. It was not that good. It was okay. It was better than the first one, but it wasn't all that great. I give it a thumbs up and a thumbs down. Watch it if you want to, but you're getting a lot of crap that shouldn't be in the movie. That's been changed. A lot of background stories and shit. Up to you. Alright, let's move on to your B-movie reviews. Alright, moving on to your B-movies or cult classic reviews this week. And this week is Fantasy Week. Now you can go either way with superhero movies. You can either do fantasy or sci-fi. I chose to do fantasy. Some of it may be sci-fi, but a lot of it's more fantasy than it is sci-fi. This round I decided we're going to finish up on the classic Christopher Reeve Superman movies. So the first one is Superman 3, which was done in 1983. It made about $60 million, which was it was okay. Uh, of course, it starred Christopher Reeve uh, and Margot Kidder was only in this for about 5 minutes, and then that's it. The rest of the movie did not have her in it. The actual lead in this was Annette O'Toole, like an old high school girl that he was sweet on back in the day. She played the main lead in Superman's love interest, which made no sense. I've come to find out the director wanted to get rid of Margaret Kidder. Didn't want to use her, wanted to change the love story. Of course, the first Superman, the second Superman did well under Donner, but they fired Donner to do the third one, which didn't go over too well. This one is actually considered the weakest out of the Superman series, like the least liked, and I could see why. It's okay still. It's just not the greatest. It is the worst of the series. Well, almost. I actually think the fourth one was a little bit worse. But it's okay. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't that great either. Basically, you have Richard Pryor in this. And of course, you know, Gene Hackman reprises. Oh, no, that's right. Gene Hackman's not in this one. Sorry, my bad. Of course, you have Richard Pryor and in this, and basically you have this guy, rich guy, who, you know, he's wanting to make himself richer. Richard Pryor becomes a computer programmer who's able to figure out how to steal money from him. The rich guy grabs Richard Pryor and decides to use him computer skills to manipulate the oil system, make more money. He also wants to get rid of Superman, so they try to create some kryptonite from scratch. It didn't work exactly as they thought it would. It basically made Superman kind of sick. Kind of turned him evil a little bit. Superman has this big fight with his evil self versus his good self, and then he gets rid of the evil part. And then he finds out they built a supercomputer together, Richard and the rich guy. And he has to fight off this supercomputer and save the day, and destroy it and put everybody in jail, except for Richard, because Richard helped save his life. It was okay. Like I said, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't horrible. But yes, it was probably, if not the weakest, next to the weakest of the series. I give it a thumbs up, thumbs down. It was alright for a watch. Not bad. Still enjoyable. Check it out if you want. The next one is, of course, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. Now, honestly, I think this one was actually probably worse than the third one. But a lot of people like this one better than they do the third one. Now, there is a lot of footage that has been cut from this movie. In fact, there were supposed to be 2 Nuclear Mans. They cut all that footage out. There was a bunch of extra shit with the Nuclear Man and Superman. They cut all that out. Christopher Reeve co-wrote the story, and he wished he hadn't have done the movie. He literally states this himself. He didn't like it at all. From what I understand, everybody on the set was fighting because Christopher Reeve, after the first 2 Supermans and the success of those movies, he kind of let his ego get really big, and everybody fought with him all the time. But anyway, this movie, I think it flopped kind of because they went a more political route. Now this was done in 1987 and it only made about 16 million. That's why I say it flopped. Now Margaret Kidder's back in this, but you also have another leading lady, Mariel Hemingway was also in this. She liked Clark and of course Lois in Superman, but apparently nobody got along in this movie. I mean, the actors, they didn't get along. It's still an okay watch as far as I'm concerned. It did get pretty political with the nuclear arms deals going on at the time, and that's what it was all about. Most generally, a lot of times, if there's political stuff in a movie, it's usually going to flop if that's your main focus in the movie. You got to be careful when you do political stuff. It's okay to do some political, stuff that's going on at the time, but don't make it the main focus of the movie. And that's what they did with this movie, and that's why it was. Like I said, there's a lot of this movie that's not on DVD or they never ever released. A lot of stuff that they filmed kind of sucks. Of course, Gene Hackman comes back in this as Lex Luthor as well. You have most of the cast that came back. Anyways, basically Lex steals some genetic material from Superman and creates Nuclear Man to fight Superman and kill Superman. And at the same time, Superman is trying to get rid of all the nuclear weapons in the world. Now you do have a few fight scenes between Nuclear Man and Superman, but there's not a whole lot of it. I mean, you get to see him mess around with the Great Wall of China and a volcano, and it kind of freezes him in space at one point in time. But eventually scratches him with his fingernails. Nuclear Man scratches Superman, and Superman gets sick. Superman does recover though, and they do a little bit more fighting on the moon. But that's pretty much the whole story, Superman finally defeats Nuclear Man by throwing him in a nuclear power plant. That's the end of him. It was alright. It was a bit cheesy, of course, but it was okay. Now, it's kind of the whole reason they really get in a fight. Not only does he want to kill Superman, but at first he wants the new woman who works at the Daily Planet. The guy's daughter takes over the Daily Planet. He literally goes to find her. Nuclear Man does, because he wants her. How dumb. But anyways, that's pretty much the whole movie. Superman figures out he can't really stop everyone from creating nukes and blah blah blah. They have to be more responsible. Yeah. A silly speech at the end. But that's pretty much the entire movie. Like I said, it was okay. It was cheesy. It was still a little bit of fun. But there's so much more that was going on with this movie that they didn't do or use film-wise. People weren't getting along. It was just a bad deal all around. But it's okay for a one-time watch, I think. So, thumbs up, thumbs down. It's okay. They should have never gotten rid of Donner. He should have directed all 4 films. He had something different. He had planned on doing 4 films, and he had something different for the 3rd and 4th one, but they got rid of him after the 2nd one. So, shame on them, Warner Brothers. For shame. Anyways, that's all I have for you this week. If you have any thoughts about what I talked about earlier in the video, please leave your thoughts down in the comments section down below. If you can think of any underrated movies or you know, films you think I may never heard of that actually pretty decent B-rated films, please leave your suggestions down in the comments down below, and I will get to reviewing them as soon as I can. So until next time, I told you you'd be told the truth, and you've just been told.